Coming to you live on 2K Sports, this is the NBA. Hi, everyone. Kevin Harlan alongside my broadcast partner, Steve Kerr and Clark Kellogg. It's great to have you with us. And now a quick check of our starting lineups for both teams. First for the Spurs, Parker and Danny Green are your 1 and your 2. And in the middle, out of Brazil, taken with the 28th pick back in 2008, the 6'11" pivot man, Thiago Splitter. Then there's Kawhi Leonard, and it's Duncan in at the 4. And for the Clippers, CP3 at point with Redick there at the backcourt. And inside at center, a long 6'11", the skyscraping big man out of Texas A&M, DeAndre Jordan. Then there's Jared Dudley, and it's Griffin in at the 4 slot.
You know, for so long, the Clippers were on the bottom rung of the ladder in the West, almost were a joke in the conference, but their fortunes have changed dramatically in the past few years, and now they're a team that's respected and feared.
Well, Clark, you said the Clippers have really flipped the Western Conference upside down over the last few years, and you're right. They have done it with, Steve, style, to say the least. They've got now also a very deep team.
Well, a 35-17 record against the West was enough to secure them their division and advantage in the first round. You have to remember, too, that they were without some of their big stars last season, so if they can stay healthy and really take advantage of what they have, this could be a lot of fun.
Parker outside. The Clippers grab the miss. And here's Redick. Feeds to Dudley. Dishes it to Paul. 6 to shoot. Redick. And he's going up for the alley-oop. And the slam by Blake Griffin.
Incredible timing on the alley-oop.
He absolutely hammered it down.
And that's the play we're going to remember when this game is all said and done.
Griffin is doing amazing things on the court and off the court. I mean, his charisma and sense of humor really have made him one of the more marketable players in the entire league.
Parker drives in. And he was fouled on the way up. 2 free throws now for him. Going back to Griffin, he spent a summer interning with an LA-based comedy website I'm reading here. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he has a love for comedy, and, playing in LA, that's a great opportunity for him to work on the entertainment side of things. And, of course, he does have a real job with the Clippers. He's got to focus there.
He does. But those commercials he's in are fun.
They are good.
Yeah, they're good.
A big part of why the Spurs were so good last season, guys, was that they were able to finish games strong. You think a group of vets might run out of gas, but the opposite was true with this group. They turned it up down the stretch and were one of the most productive teams in the league in terms of fourth-quarter points.
Well, Clark, a big part of why the Spurs were so good last year in the fourth was because they have so many options when possessions, Steve, start getting critical and the game is tight.
Well, no question. You've got Parker to create off the dribble. You can always throw it into the low post to Duncan. But on top of that, you've got a roster full of guys who understand how to play the game and know how to play each other. Just the experience that this group has gained together over the years, I think, allows them to execute under pressure.
Here is Parker after the Clippers pick up 2. Outside, Green. Back to Parker. Parker off the pick from Splitter. Shoots from the baseline, and that one's good. Parker. Just about 2 minutes into the game, first quarter of basketball. Paul outside. The pass to Redick. Back to Paul. Some nice ball movement by the Clippers. He dishes it to Dudley. Offline with his 3.
Boy, from my angle, it looked like it was in the bottom of the net. Looked good from here.
Yeah, I thought so too, Clark.
Paul outside. Dudley dishes to Jordan. Redick up top. Shot clock at 6. No one covering.
Well, once a shooter, always a shooter. J.J. Redick, one of the great marksmen of all time at Duke in the college game. And it's kept on rolling here in the NBA. He's got deep range on his 3. can spot up and shoot from anywhere and also put the ball on the floor a couple times and create a shot inside.
Great shot is right. And like you said, not only threes, but Steve, any shot where you give Redick a chance to set his feet and get a clear view of the hoop, his shot form is just too consistent for him to miss. He's one of those players who works on that just so diligently. You know he's going to find a degree of success every time out there. Now here's Dudley after the miss from Tim Duncan. Ball left side. He feeds it to Redick. Good, and Paul gets the assist.
Well, I tell you what, Greg Popovich, a really impressive leader for the Spurs. He's able to keep all of his players locked into what's best for the team. Has a military background, played basketball and studied at the Air Force Academy before serving 5 years in the Air Force. And you know some of the leadership that he brings to his position was learned from his past experiences.
The Clippers in the lead. Now let's find out what head coach Greg Popovich had to say to Doris Burke. Doris?
He said Chris Paul is a major concern for them because of his ability to lead a team. He said it all starts with Paul because once he gets going and gets everyone involved, the whole team becomes a well-oiled machine. That is something we're definitely worried about.
Thank you, Doris. And Clark, you mentioned Pop's time at the Air Force Academy. That's where he got his start in the coaching ranks.
Yeah, 6 years as an assistant there. He was head coach at Pomona, an assistant coach with the Golden State Warriors and the Spurs. Then eventually moved into the front office in San Antonio. But wow, what an amazing run it's been for him. 17 years as the head coach of the Spurs.
San Antonio making a switch here. Matt Bonner, he's checked in for Splitter. Diaw comes in for Tim Duncan. Manu Ginobili's checked in for Kawhi Leonard. And it's Bellinelli in for Daniel Green. And it's going to be 2 free throws. Drew contact on the shot.
Tony Parker had a phenomenal 2011-2012 campaign, but as is the case with Greg Popovich, he challenged Parker to improve upon that for last season. Popovich told him, good players can be great for a little bit, but great players are always great. And that really resonated with Parker.
When you think about how great Parker's been, we forgot his career almost came to an end in the summer of 2012. This is a very interesting part in his career.
That's right. He was an innocent bystander at a club in New York when a melee erupted and bottles were thrown. He got a shard of glass that penetrated almost through his left eye. Very easily could have lost his vision and lost his career.
Collison kicks to Crawford. Back to Collison. Passes to Barnes. The feed to Dudley. Wide open look. They get it again. Buries the 7-footer.
You see the defense get caught standing around that time, giving up an easy second chance bucket.
Simply need more of an effort on the boards there, Steve. Guys, you go back to the shortened season a year before last, and the Spurs were the best team on the road. But last year, they weren't nearly as dominant on the road. Still solid when leaving San Antonio, but far from the level they played at a couple of seasons ago.
The Clippers have gone 6 of 8 in the game so far. A very solid start for them. Collison, the pass to Dudley. 40 seconds left here in the opening quarter. Collison kicks to Dudley. Now the dish to Barnes. Buries it from three-point range. And for the Spurs on the road last season, they would still win 23 games in hostile territory. And while that is more than the 22, Steve, they won in the shortened season, they also lost a fair amount more as well.
Well, for the Spurs, Kevin, I think they did what they needed to do. You know, the Spurs manage the regular season. They know when to turn it on and when they can maybe relax a little bit. But the big thing is they just want to stay near 500 on the road, protect their home court, and be healthy going into the playoffs, and that puts them in a good position.
Crawford kicks to Collison. He passes to Dudley. Tried to come right back with the 3 of his own, but it's no good. Can't get it to go. So at the end of 1 quarter of play, still a close game. Clippers lead by 2. And don't go away. We'll be back with the action for the start of the second quarter in just a moment. And welcome back to the NBA on 2K Sports. More action in store as the players get ready to go. Having a nice break to get hydrated with Gatorade. And Steve and Clark and I are refreshed and ready to go here as well. And some stats here, guys. The scoring breakdown for the Clippers.
You know what, guys? It looks to me like they're really in sync here, all on the same page. They've already got a bunch of assists.
And I like the physical play we're seeing, too, because this is a club that's really pounding the paint area and scoring inside.
And San Antonio has possession after Darren Collison's miss. Fires from the wing. It's rebounded by Mullins.
What was the defense doing there? I mean, he is not the guy to give an open look to, and yet they got away with it.
It's up a three. The shot, no good. San Antonio trailing here. They set the screen. Parker dishes to Diaw. Parker kicks to Diaw. Second shot opportunity. Foul call that time on the way up. That'll give him 2 chances at the free throw line here.
Well, the Red Rocket, as they call him, one of the best outside shooting big men that we've seen in this league the last few years. You cannot leave him open outside defensively.
Yeah, classic shooting 4-man. His game is to spot up at the three-point line and wait for the open look. That free throw good from Bonner.
Boy, you look at the Clippers, and they clearly are one of the most entertaining teams in the NBA. One of the outstanding team shows you'll see. They have fun, they're up and down. But they're a hard-working group, and a lot of that you have to attribute to their leader, Chris Paul.
That one drops. He ties it up. Well, Clark, as you were taking a look at the Clippers, they are a fun team, an amazing product so far with big names all around. But, you know, Steve, they've got to work hand in hand to make sure they're always at their best and not take things for granted.
Well, I think it's still a team that's a work in progress. You've got a young front line in Griffin and DeAndre Jordan. Great point guard in Paul, but the new additions have helped, and I think it'll be interesting to see if this team can gel during the playoffs.
And here is Parker. After the three-pointer from Jamal Crawford. Parker double-teamed. Ginobili outside. Makes no mistake on the open jump shot.
The easiest way to do it sometimes is with the bounce pass.
L.A. has gone 1 of 2 on three-pointers here in the second quarter so far.
Tony Parker really was more of a scoring point guard than a passing one early in his career, but his assist numbers have gone up. Greg Popovich, throughout Parker's career, has been on him to distribute and to become more of a true point guard. And I think he has found that balance over the last couple seasons.
Let's go now to the sideline and catch up with Doris Burke. Hey, Doris.
Hey, Kevin. Well, for the Los Angeles Clippers, the pieces seem to be coming together for a deep run. It all started with the acquisition of Coach Doc Rivers, who was also given a lead role in basketball decision-making. Follow that up with the trade for J.J. Redick and Jared Dudley. That gives the team great shooting on the wings. And both players expressed their excitement to play for the Clips. Guys, this once downtrodden franchise has become a destination.
A winning situation, Doris. Thanks. Ellen Elliott. Goes up again. Bonner's shot good. Bonner's got 4 points in the quarter.
Well, that's how you pick up second chance points. Stay active, be energetic, and react as soon as the shot goes up.
Now about 3 minutes gone in this second quarter of basketball. And it's going to be out of bounds. The Spurs will take it. Tony Parker just now entering his 30s. He's still got plenty of basketball, though, ahead of him.
Yeah, he started early, 19 years old, I think, when he came into the league, Kevin. So he's a guy that grew up under the direction and firm hand and sometimes hard hand of Greg Popovich, and now is thriving in an environment that's been championship caliber in every way.
Pass to Splitter. Splitter gets the screen from Parker. Spurs passing it around. Outside Leonard. Lets it go from deep. Offensive rebound. Splitter passes to Duncan.
And the defense looking to protect the rim at all costs.
Yeah, I like that. A foul to save the layup. Make him earn it at the line.
First trip to the free throw line for him in this one. Ties it up, and this next one could give them the lead.
You know, for a long time, people would look at Staples as the Lakers' home where the Clippers just happened to be sharing space. But the Clippers let everybody know that they called this Staples Center home as well last year. And I thought they were a force in front of their rabid fans.
Bellinelli, he's checked in for San Antonio.
Well, as far as the league's big men go, he's one of the very best at the foul line.
And a little under 3.5 minutes elapsed in the second quarter of play. Barnes kicks to Paul. Throws it up high, and DeAndre Jordan throws it down.
You can see the eye contact there. Gave a little nod and then burst to the rim for the alley-oop slam.
No doubt, Clark. A pair of teammates with a terrific feel for each other out on the floor.
And what a play to make in a close game, a potential momentum builder.
Well, Clark, as you said, the Clippers really starting to make waves on the landscape here in L.A. as they surpassed the Lakers in wins last season. You know, a big part of that was, Steve, their ability to win here at home.
Yeah, 32 wins here at Staples, and when they got out and ran, this place was really rocking. And this Clipper team has a roster full of guys that can make a play that ignites a crowd, and some new additions this year, new coaching staff. There's a lot going on for this Clipper team.
Now here's Paul. Still getting warmed up offensively. No buckets yet in the game for him.
Man, a gaping hole in the defense that time, and he didn't waste any time getting through it.
Here's Parker. It's a three-point game. He kicks to Bellinelli. Feeds it to Splitter. No block shot. Misses off the right eye.
And a nice job there defensively, just getting a hand up enough to bother the shot.
Yeah, that was very nice. Impressive. It made it a much more difficult shot. You know, you take a look at a lot of the guys in the NBA who get a bunch of steals, and most of them will gather a fair amount of fouls because of that aggressiveness and that gambling style. Not the case with Kawhi Leonard, who has about a 1-to-1 foul-to-steal ratio for his career. Pretty impressive.
J.J. Redick's checked in for San Antonio. The Clippers shooting their first foul shot of the game.
Well, you look at the numbers, Kevin. Last year they were around 71% from the line as a team, so not a very good number there.
And it's something they know that if they improve, can really have a big impact on their success.
And Kawhi Leonard, Clark, you mentioned his knack for steals. And Steve, you shaking hands with him moments ago. He's got huge hands.
Yeah, it almost hurt. You know what I love about him, though? He's got a nose for the ball. You mentioned the big hands. It helps him to be a great rebounder, but he just always finds his way into the play, and he helps this team win. Not sure if they're aware of the 2-for-1 opportunity they have.
Well, they need to be.
And it's Paul penetrating. Paul gets a screen from Griffin. Foul call. Looked like that he didn't get there in time, and he'll shoot free throws.
Well, it was kind of an up and down last few months for J.J. Redick. Traded away by his team of almost 7 years in Orlando. Ended up making a pit stop in Milwaukee before bouncing back to the open market. And there was certainly demand for his services. Every team in the league can use a laser shooter.
The free throw drops for Redick. And another solid year for Redick last season with two different teams.
Great shooter coming out of Duke, and You really have to respect how hard he's worked to round out his game. He's become more than just a spot-up shooter. As a team defender, he can move without the ball, but he can put the ball on the floor and get to the rim and finish. I think he's become an excellent guard in this league.
Well, I think this is one of the more amazing stats in sports when you think about it. No matter the season or the roster, the Spurs just seem to find ways to win 50 games. They've done it 14 straight seasons now, which is off the charts.
Clippers leading by 5. Now Paul. There's the lob to the hoop. And the slam by Blake Griffin.
And the lead just grows on that ridiculous offensive sequence.
Look, Clark, that dunk alone would have been spectacular. Never mind it coming at the end of an alley-oop.
Yeah, that just added more to it.
Yeah, what a beautiful connection on that play.
They get it back. Parker. Jordan with some nice D.
You see the defenders get out of his way a lot of times when he's on his way to the bucket, but not that time.
So we've reached the end of the first half of play. The Clippers on top, up by 7. We'll be back shortly live from Staples Center in downtown Los Angeles.
And now, brought to you by Sprint.
And a fun game going on out in Los Angeles. Thanks for joining us. Los Angeles in front against San Antonio. They've been relentless attacking the rim, dominating in points in the paint, and the bodies down low have been banging away. There's been some great work in this one by Blake Griffin. He's got 6 points and also collected 4 rebounds. And this dedicated Spurs team is weathering the storm. This team's known for their offensive rebounding capability, and they're maxing it out in this one. Tony Parker's dishing it out, and the other team is taking it. He has 8 points and also has contributed with his passing, making some assists. That will be all for us. Thanks for stopping in. We'll see you next time.
The Sprint Halftime Report, presented by Sprint.
The busy streets of Los Angeles, lighting up the night sky as we continue. Look at Tony Parker. What a contribution.
Well, in terms of his points in the first half, I mean, that's pretty much what we've come to expect out of him.
Yeah, that's an open book on all you need to know about what talent he has. I'll bet he adds a lot more to that tally in the second half.
Parker against Paul. Griffin a screen on Parker. Paul outside. Clock at 6. And a foul called on the shot. Got him on the way up that time, so he'll shoot 2 right here.
With all of the on-court skills that Chris Paul possesses, perhaps his greatest attribute is the leadership he brings to a team. He just has a way about bringing guys together, encouraging them while also challenging them and holding them accountable.
And he knocks down the first one. We go back to that leadership that Chris Paul provides. I saw that some last year in the general manager category said that he might be the best single leader on any team in the NBA.
I would agree with that. He's just a dominant presence out there, despite the fact that he's kind of short. But he just understands his point guard's role. Passionate about the game, smart basketball player, and loves to play.
Well, I'm sure Chris Paul not happy with how last season ended. He's hungry for a title. For the franchise best in wins for the Clippers, and for CP3, another great season statistically, I think he's got to take some solace in that.
Well, there's plenty to like about him as a player, but one thing that really stands out is the quick trigger. He can catch the ball in space, defenders all over him, but in an instant, lets that shot go, and he is accurate.
And also, Steve, I think he's the definition of a lockdown defender. It doesn't matter what style of player he's up against, he can handle just about anything that's thrown at him.
And for Chris Paul last season, a career low in minutes, with a great backup behind him and Eric Bledsoe.
Yeah, even when Paul missed those 12 games with an injury, the Clippers did fine without him. But now Bledsoe is on to Phoenix after the trade. Darren Collison steps into that backup role, and we'll see how he's able to fit.
And Doris Burke has something for us. Hey, Doris.
Guys, Tony Parker summed up his role this way. Quote, the last 2 or 3 years, it's become my team. Pop is challenging me to become the franchise player. On Tony Parker's greater role, Tim Duncan says, quote, the load has switched over to him. It's a big thing, and he's handled it great. Guys, he's delivered, one of the top 10 players in the league last year.
That's right, Doris. Thanks.
Well, Pop and the team really believe in him, and they trust him, and he's rewarding that trust.
And pushing it up. Here's Los Angeles.
How about that basketball, man?
Wow, and that sort of showmanship is just deflating right now to a team trying, Clark, to get back into this game like this.
Yeah, definitely a jam with emphasis. A big apostrophe or exclamation point. How about maybe even a question mark, partner?
Well, you know what the questions are about now? It's their defense, that's for sure. And what an amazing run it was for the Spurs last year in the postseason. Swept the Lakers, survived Golden State, and then dismantled Memphis on their way to the NBA Finals. And then, of course, we're seconds away from another championship banner.
Clippers leading by 10. Paul with the ball. Now Green defending, and that one's good. 6 points for Chris Paul.
You know, size-wise, this is not a great one-on-one matchup for him, but he got that shot to go.
But you wouldn't know it by how he finished. That's a nice hoop there.
Well, getting back at the Spurs, they look better and better as they went deeper into the playoffs, Clark. Heat were thought to be the heavy favorites at the start of the NBA postseason. But when they met in the finals, thoughts on who would win, I think, were pretty much split.
Yeah, and eventually, you know, this was one heck of a series because the Spurs not only had experience and talent, but they had multiple options offensively and did such a terrific job sharing the ball. They took the Miami Heat to the limit, but at the end of the day, it came down to LeBron James and Dwayne Wade rising to the challenge.
Into the third we go. 2 minutes in now. Kicks it to Redick. Back to Paul. A three ball. Paul missing again.
Kind of rare to see him come up empty on a wide open look.
Lovely against Green. Pass to Leonard. 5 on the clock. No good off the back of the rim.
Oh, that's a frustrating one there. Easy look at the hoop.
Paul dishes to Redick. Back to Paul. From 17 feet out. And it's the Clippers scoring again.
I'll tell you what, he's made more than a few of those in his career.
You know, DeAndre Jordan last year led the league in field goal percentage at 64%, but that was a percentage that was better than his free throw percentage. You want to get that flip, and hopefully Jordan will be able to do that.
Now here's Leonard. He's been patient so far, nothing yet on the scoreboard. Connects on the foul line jumper.
Sometimes folks forget about his decent mid-range jumper. He can knock those down all game given a chance.
And for DeAndre Jordan, it's strange. His shooting motion at the line looks good, but Steve, last year just 38% from the stripe.
Well, it's got to be mental, Kevin, because you watch the way he shoots. You know, it's not a beautiful stroke, but it's not broken by any means. I think it's all about finding a way to be comfortable at the free throw line. Some players never reach that point.
Paul outside. Griffin sets the screen for Paul. On the wing, Dudley's shot is good. Dudley's got his second basket.
Easy little jump shot for him right there, guys.
Parker kicks to Leonard. Dishes it to Splitter. Parker outside. Now the pass to Duncan. That's good. Duncan's got 8.
They're on track here in the second half after their less than impressive first half. I mean, I think they came out with some tired legs to start, but they've turned it around. They found some energy, and they look a lot more active and engaged.
Now here's Paul. He's got 8. Here's Redick. Green with the block. Now here's the fast break. Parker leading the way. Leonard. And so he draws the foul on the shot. A trip to the line to shoot 2.
Yeah, he got whacked. Shouldn't be much debate on that one.
Yeah, that was as straightforward as it gets, guys.
And let's get your take, guys, on the scoring breakdown for Los Angeles.
Guys, their play close to the hoop has been great all game.
And they've been knocking down the mid-range jumper as well.
And he makes the first.
You know, you go through the regular season, guys, and set all sorts of records for your franchise and wins and winning streaks and all that. You win your division for the first time ever, your first 50-win season, and what do you get for it? Bounced in the first round of the playoffs. It's still progress, though, and I think the Clippers will use that for motivation this season.
Matt Bonner, he's checked in for splitting. Leonard hits them both. Well, Clark, as you said, the Clippers got up 2-zip on the Grizzlies, but all of a sudden it came to a crashing halt. As Steve, they dropped 4 consecutive games, and just like that, we're out of the postseason.
Yeah, injuries played a part. Blake Griffin sprained his ankle, but I think the Clippers were exposed a little bit too. They're limited offensively on the front line, and maybe not quite enough shooting, but that's why they made the moves in the offseason. And they're looking to pick up and make some improvement in that regard.
The Clippers have shot a good percentage from the free throw line so far. They've made 5 out of 6. Manu Ginobili's checked in for Daniel Green. San Antonio with the ball, trailing here by 8. He dishes it to Parker. The shot, and he knocks down the jumper. Parker's got 10.
Well, you've got to like the focus that they're showing here in the second half. I see a lot more effort as well. I mean, it's amazing when you lock in mentally and bring some energy and intensity, things can pick up in a positive way for you.
Parker against Paul. And Ginobili pulls it down. Can't get it to go. And we've watched 3 so far in this one. Clippers lead by 6. And fourth quarter basketball will be coming your way on 2K Sports right after this. We welcome you back to what has been a good one here as we get into the fourth quarter. Here's Parker. He feeds it to Ginobili. And it's good on the assist by Parker. Ginobili's got the first basket as we get going in the fourth for the Spurs. Paul outside. Pass to Collison. Back to Paul. And there's the feed to Barnes. And they come right back with their own three-pointer. And the Clippers lead by 6. The Spurs shooting well. They're at 45%. Leonard kicks to Parker. And it's good. Off through contact, hits the shot. He'll go to the free throw line.
You know, he's not the most flashy point guard out there, and you don't hear his name when people talk about the best point guards in the game, but I think Parker is one of the best in the business when it comes right down to it. He's able to do so many things out there for you, and just had a dominant season for the Spurs a year ago.
Steve, Parker's fearlessness going to the hoop is what makes him such a devastating player in crunch time. Often you see him go right into a bigger guy, take the contact, and still find a way to finish the play.
DeAndre Jordan's checked in for the Clippers. Reddick comes in for Chris Paul.
Great close out there, forcing the errant shot.
Well, he made it a tough shot again. He didn't give up on it, and he got a hand on it.
Clippers leading by 4. Collison, no good. San Antonio's gone 1 of 2 from three-point range here in the fourth. He lobs up the alley-oop pass and stolen by Jordan. Now the Clippers moving it up. Here's Barnes. Now Vince can finish the break. Throw down with force.
Boy, I love it. Active hands on the steal, active feet on the fast break.
And Clark power on the dunk.
Hey, guys, this is just too close of a game to be giving the ball up like that and then failing to get back in transition.
San Antonio with the ball. The Clippers getting the bucket. Spurs passing it around. Gets it to go. That's now 8 points for Manu Ginobili.
Their three-point percentage has taken a big leap up since the start of the second half. They're starting to find the range.
Steve, the lasers are starting to do their thing. That's going to be the ticket for them the rest of the way.
Now here's Collison. And the call will be against Tony Parker. That's foul number 2 for him.
Tough break for the defense. He took the heat and drew the whistle.
Yep, but when you get there late, that's what happens.
Spurs making a switch here. On its way from Dudley for 2. A putback. He hangs in there and cashes in on the second chance points. And that's now 11 points for Blake Griffin.
And a nice soft touch on the board.
And you know, you have that general touch. Those chip-ins are easy to come by.
Well, easy points. 3 points for a guy with that kind of strength and agility in the paint. You got to go for every second chance opportunity.
Now here's Parker. 6 on the shot clock. Rebounded by Dudley. Dudley's got 4 rebounds in this game. Gets it to go. And the Clippers lead by 7.
Their interior defense has been dismal.
Yeah, and unfortunately, their offense in the paint hasn't been a whole lot better.
Outside Green. And the rejection by Reddick. And they're able to recover. Parker kicks to Leonard. Back to Parker. Throw off the pick from Splitter. Parker, defended by Paul. Parker passes to Leonard. Can't connect from short range.
I thought he rushed it a little bit, guys, because he had a clean look. Just lost his focus.
And there's the whistle on the shot. Took the foul. Shot misses. He'll be shooting 2.
The defense keeps coming up short. Just no solution for Reddick. He has 9 points, and he's also got 1 block to add to the mix today.
Yeah, it's just a small part of what's been a solid overall contribution by him defensively.
The free throw drops for Reddick.
They got to keep fighting their way to the line, guys. This half, it's been nothing but success for them there.
And their confidence has to just continue to go up the longer their perfection continues.
And both free throws good for Reddick.
Boy, his free throw shooting, just another reason he's such a good all-around player.
Time called here. The Spurs decide to talk it over.
Well, they're getting way too many easy shots in the paint. So this timeout is specifically for that reason. You got to tighten up the defense and start to make it harder for that offensive team.
I know it's easier said than done, but right now it just doesn't seem like the necessary effort is there.
Let's go quickly over to Doris Burke for an update.
Thanks, guys. I was able to hear Greg Popovich coaching his team during that last break. He was not happy with their play to this point, telling them we're getting out hustled, plain and simple. There's still time, but we've got to dial up our effort. Kevin, we'll see if they have enough to get it done.
Now here's Parker. Duncan with the screen on Paul. The dish to Splitter. Back to Parker. And Chris Paul picks up the foul. That's his 3rd foul of the game. Los Angeles on D. They've held a 12-point lead earlier. And Parker, here we go. And taken away by Paul.
Now you wonder why his team's losing. He keeps giving the ball away time after time.
Paul, right side. He passes it to Reddick. Back to Paul. 5 to shoot. He lobs it up. Tim Duncan with the rebound. Duncan's got his 3rd rebound tonight. Leonard with the ball. Chris Paul covering. Here's Green, and he nails that one right through the net.
Well, he's been a real positive factor for them today, although, as a team, they've had a lot of negatives mixed in there as well.
Los Angeles calls timeout. They lead by 7. 1:30 left in the game. And Griffin backs in. Pass to Dudley. He kicks to Paul. Feeds to Reddick. Clippers moving the ball around. Here's Griffin. Rebound San Antonio. Duncan's got his 4th rebound in this one. Green dishes to Parker. Right block shot. And it's blocked by Reddick. 58 seconds left in the 4th quarter of this one. Back to Paul. Kicks to Dudley. Clock at 6. Pass to Paul. No good. Now San Antonio takes it the other way.
Well, it's going to be tough for them, but you have to continue to compete. It's not over. Just play, see what happens.
Yep, you can't afford empty possessions.
And Duncan gets it to go in.
And that's the kind of lead pass we've seen him make over and over again.
And out of bounds as San Antonio gains possession.
Well, they couldn't hook up there on what's really a pretty basic pass.
Jamal Crawford, he's checked in for J.J. Redick. San Antonio calls timeout. They're losing by 5. 29 seconds left to play here in the 4th. Here's Leonard. No good on the quick 3. And that's an intentional foul. Here's Paul. And he commits the intentional foul.
At the line for 2.
First free throw is good, and that increases their lead to 6. Second one is good. We both at the line, and it's a 7-point game.
Perfectly done at the stripe there, and that brings their lead up to an even more comfortable level.
San Antonio calls timeout. They trail by 7. 23 seconds left in the 4th quarter. So San Antonio going with an almost entirely new group here. Matt Bonner, he's checked in for Split. DL comes in for Tim Duncan. Bellinelli, he's checked in for Kawhi Leonard. And it's Mills in for Tony Parker. And so it's San Antonio with it. 7-point differential. There's Green with the 3. Barnes grabs the miss. Here comes Darren Collison. Nuggets to win. Both teams played well, but these guys had the edge.
Yeah, I think so. They were just steak knife sharp. Very on top of their game here.
Well said. Thanks for tuning in to the NBA on 2K Sports. For Clark Kellogg, Steve Kerr endorsement, this is Kevin Harlan. We'll see you next time. And now, our Jordan player of the game, Chris Paul.